and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. It's a beautiful day in Cowtown, and we're so glad that you've chosen to spend it together with all of us. Our invocation today will be led by Chavoyd Hamilton, CEO and publisher of the Business Press, followed by past President Doug Briley, fractional CMO and marketing consultant, playing the national anthem. Chavoyd?
Thank you, President Ann. Greetings to our fellow Rotarians. Please join me in prayer. God Almighty, the earth belongs to you, and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. And through you we have joy, and we have peace, and we have love. Your desire for us is to be a light to the world, that your glory would be seen. Through this, we pray that you will use those of us in this room as your servants in the earth, that your glory may be made manifest as we selflessly serve one another and mankind. Guide and help us to be a benefit to the lives of a people, to a nation, and to a world that's in need. Bless us to have the heart of concern and a will to respond. Bless the efforts of this Rotary as well as the efforts of Rotary International as we seek and desire to honor you. We do ask you to bless the preparers and the servers of this food, that this meal would be and bring strength to our body. Thank you for forgiveness, for your grace, your mercy, and your love. This is our prayer. Amen. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, blue cross stars and bright stars through the perilous fight? For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Chavoyd and Doug. Here to welcome our visitors is Sue Christoph, partner, Curry Capital. Sue.
Thank you, Madam President. Hello, fellow Rotarians. Today we're blessed with a large audience and very many guests for our amazing speaker today. So what I'd like to do is just, if you are a guest attending today, if you could please stand up and we will have a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. It is a tradition of the club to recite Rotary's four-way test, a guide for what we think, see, and do. Please join me. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Once again, there is a lot of news this week. For your personal enjoyment, we have a lighter look at the news from Brenda Matamoros Beveridge, Major Gifts Officer, Texas Ballet Theater. Brenda.
Wow, that is a great welcome. I feel like the 3-time gold medalist women's hockey team at the White House. That's super low-hanging fruit. So the top story tonight is a baby monkey named Punch went viral after being rejected by his mother and given a stuffed orangutan for comfort. Earlier reports say he avoided other monkeys, clung to his toy, and kept to himself. Experts are calling this first Rotary meeting behavior. Sources confirm Punch relied heavily on his keepers and seemed unsure how to integrate. It was giving awkwardly mouthing the four-way test for the first time. In global international world news, at the United Nations, an emergency meeting has been scheduled to schedule the next emergency meeting. In Russia, just FYI, Russia, this is a joke. It's a joke, Russia. Elon, Tulsi. In Russian news, the government has decided to be more efficient during elections. They will be announcing election results before voting begins to save time. A new German law regarding efficiency requires meetings to have an agenda, purpose, and emotional closure. In Hollywood, a studio announces the remake of a movie that was already a remake. Oh no. In World Cup cartel chaos, cartel unrest in Mexico threatens World Cup matches in Guadalajara. Yep, nothing says the beautiful game like roadblocks, car fires, and gunshots. Or cartel dodgeball, as we like to call it. In a leaked World Cup security briefing to players, it states, please keep your eyes on the ball and hit yours to the ground if shots are fired. Oh no. Speaking of Olympics, Alyssa Liu, 19 years old, showed off her striped locks, fun fashion sense, and super vibey choreo, and won gold medals for all the things. It was an ice skating. The song she performed to was the Gen Z anthem Pink Panthers and Zara Larsson. But somewhere in a recliner, a retired engineer from 1978 says, I preferred it when skating had dignity. Okay, Boomer, she just landed a triple axel with a double espresso into a quadruple bypass and ended with a somersault. Apparently, the real competition wasn't on the ice. It was between Gen Z and the AARP. Now, speaking of the AARP, Brenda Matamoros Beveridge has officially received her first AARP flyer in the mail addressed to her. Mrs. Matamoros Beveridge explained, you know what? I'm not mad at it. They offered me a discount for the Walmart Premium membership. I have been eyeing that membership for a long time. I'm gonna get it. In a job report, a source says, we have created millions and millions of jobs. Experts surveyed 300,000 employees, and they all agree that millions and millions of jobs have been created because they are each working 3 of them. In a State of the Union speech, that's it. That's the joke. State of the Union. And finally, it's a lot of Brenda on stage today. I'm going to be up here again soon. Fort Worth is looking at extremely fine weather this weekend, so please head out and enjoy and just try not to be a jerk to anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Usually, our announcements are things we like to hear about. I can't promise that today because past President J.R. Labby, CEO of CSE Leadership, has some news about our favorite Navy ship, the USS Fort Worth. J.R.?
I know. Always here, but not always welcome. So 20 years ago, when I was an editorial writer and columnist at the Star-Telegram and president of this august body, former Fort Worth Mayor and then U.S. Representative Kay Granger approached me to assist with a community-wide push to get a Navy ship named for our city. Beyond the paper's editorial board support, Granger, who is also a Rotarian, asked this club to commit to supporting the ship's sailors for as long as the Fort Worth was active. So our campaign for the name was successful, and Freedom Class LCS-3 was christened the USS Fort Worth by ship sponsor Kay Granger on December 4th, 2010. The ship was commissioned September 22nd, 2012 in Galveston. Rotarians fulfilled their pledge to Kay with gusto. Rotarians created a 64-foot lei out of plastic shopping bags that festooned the ship's bow as she made her maiden entry into her home port of San Diego. You sent holiday cards and care packages. Renfro's, by the way, the favorite is ghost pepper and chow chow. You paid for an onboard library so that the sailors could continue their book learning when they were on the ship. You hosted lunches and happy hours when the support committee brought the outstanding crew members to Fort Worth. Rotarians, you helped sailors from around the nation know the awesomeness of the city whose name is on the ship's stern. As president of the USS Fort Worth Support Committee, I thank you. I am here today to announce that the only U.S. naval vessel named for Fort Worth will be decommissioned on Wednesday, July 29th at Naval Station San Diego. As bittersweet as this moment is for many of us, Fort Worth can be proud of the support this community provided to the sailors who served on our ship. That support cannot end yet. We still have crew members working 12-hour shifts on board, but what they don't have anymore on the ship is a chef. No one is cooking meals for those young men and women. So be watching for invitations to some care package happy hours, or you can make a donation on the support committee's website to help buy munchies for the mates. We also are planning activities around the decom ceremony in San Diego for July 28th and 29th. That's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. We would love to see plenty of Fort Worth faces there. There's more details to come. As I confirm them, I will make sure that Ann and the club know what they are, and I'll be happy to stick around after the meeting. If anyone has questions or comments, Chris Cobbler. Thank you.
Thank you, JR. And one final note, we received a lovely thank you from Commander Canby after their visit here last month. He also included some notes from the sailors who were here, and he apologized for how much they ate. They were very appreciative of the hospitality and the support over the years. On the plus side, Commander Canby has invited all of us to visit him in San Diego, which is certainly a nice thing, but it just won't be the same without the USS Fort Worth. Moving on, here to make an announcement about a community service opportunity is Corey Harris, Chief Development Officer, Center for Transforming Lives. Corey.
Thank you, Madam President. Imagine you're homeless, living in your car with your 2-year-old daughter. You get connected to the Center for Transforming Lives, and within 12 days, you're housed in an apartment. And when you walk through the front door, your case manager meets you there with a welcome home kit. This kit has essentials like pots and pans, sheets, towels, all of the things to start your home. Rotarians, you have an opportunity to help assemble some of these kits. We've had some generous donors who have sent us some supplies through our Amazon wish list, and now we need some muscle to come in and work together to assemble these kits. We have coordinated a date on March 12th. If you look on your table, there's a little flyer here with a QR code, and you can go online and you can register. We'll serve a light lunch, and it will start around 11, and depending on how fast we go, we might be done before 1. If you're saying, Corey, I'd love to support this, that's a beautiful thing, but I just can't make it. That's okay. If you go on the QR code, you have a link to the Amazon wish list. You can do a little shopping. We keep those inventories up to speed, so if you shop and you ship it to us, we will add it to the inventory and make some more welcome home kits. So if you have any questions, I will be waiting over here and can answer any questions that you might have. But I think this would be a really fun opportunity for Rotarians to show these fabulous moms with little ones that we care. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Next, I'd like to call back to the stage Brenda Beveridge, who has some real news about an upcoming Rotary social opportunity, along with Ed Macklin, insurance consultant, Champion Insurance, and chairman of the social committee. Ed and Brenda.
All right.
See, first, somebody had a question. Oh, yeah, Nick.
Hey, Ed, what's going on with the social committee?
Nick, I'm so glad you asked that. It's been about a month since Rotary at the Rodeo, and the social committee has been hard at work planning upcoming events for the enjoyment of everyone in our club. A quick reminder that social events are open to anyone you may know who might be interested in joining Rotary or just wants to come have fun with us. Brenda, I believe you have a question.
I do, Ed. Hello, everyone.
Brenda, I'm so glad. Oh.
No. Hello, everyone. Raise your hand if you attended the Peter Pan performance at Bass Hall.
Brenda, I'm so glad you asked that.
Awesome. Those who attended will remember it was a great experience.
I was there, and I didn't raise my hand, did I? It was quite honestly the most amazing stage performance I've seen, and that's really the truth. It was incredible.
You did like it a lot.
I did like it. And Brenda, will you provide the details on our upcoming event?
So this ballet, it's called Diversions, and it is 4 acts. It's 4 performances, including one from choreographer Martha Graham, which is Diversions of Angels, and it also includes Bolero, and it includes, here we go. At the end, it includes Company B, which is so special for those of you World War II enthusiasts. So we are going to have, it's a high energy, high level performance.
And scan the QR code, and did you tell them about the green room and everything?
Oh, yes, I apologize. Yes, we are having a cocktail reception before the Saturday performance, which Rotary is invited to, if you have a ticket. And it's in the green room, and it's an hour, and it also includes a Tim Talk, which is a description of what you are about to see on stage, which if you were at Peter Pan, you'll know what we're talking about.
Brenda, that sounds like it'll be another amazing production from the Texas Ballet Theater. And there's QR codes on your table as well to buy your tickets.
Okay, we will
We'll
see you
all
at
at Bass Hall.
on Saturday, March 14th.
Back to you, President Ann.
Thank you, Ed and Brenda. You never know what you're going to get. Next on the agenda are 2 grant presentations. Here on behalf of the Grants Allocation Committee is Bill Fairley, Financial Advisor, Fairley Wealth Management. Bill.
Thank you, President Ann, and I'm very honored to be able to present these today. As I was telling our grantees, I was way down on the list, so here we go. But anyway, our first one is to Lena Pope. This club grant of $5,000 from the Children's Fund supports Lena Pope's Early Learning Centers. The centers exist to make sure every child, no matter their family's income, gets the strong start they need before kindergarten. Early learning is incredibly important because the human brain grows rapidly from pregnancy through its first year of life, and 85% of that brain development happens by age 5, or in my case, 65. As Fort Worth continues to grow quickly, the demand for high-quality child care is rising much faster than the number of available spots. Finding child care is already challenging for families who can pay full tuition, and it's even harder for low-income families. Lena Pope helps bridge that gap by offering a high-quality early learning that is accessible and affordable. The Early Learning Centers provide a nurturing environment where children can learn, grow, and build the skills they need for future success. They also support parents by offering resources and positive parenting strategies. By investing in families during these critical early years, they help set children on a path toward long-term health, well-being, and achievement. And I would like to introduce Dr. Victoria Sendejo, the Chief Engagement Officer from Lena Pope. All right, and next, press, hey, come on. Sorry about that. I know. Let me dab my forehead so there's sheen. Thank you, Doctor. Our next grant presentation is to Helping Restorability. Our club is awarding a grant of $6,000 from the endowment fund to Helping Restorability. The organization was founded in 1977 by a young man with polio who wanted people with disabilities to live with more dignity and independence. What started as a small peer-run group has grown into a statewide nonprofit that helps Texans with disabilities, older adults, and veterans stay safely in their homes and avoid institutional care. HRA's mission has always focused on independence, inclusion, and compassionate support. This club's funding will help launch a program for North Texas veterans who qualify for VA community care but aren't receiving in-home support simply because they don't know how to access it. The program will focus on aging, disabled, and medically fragile veterans who face the highest risk of isolation, hospitalization, or early placement in nursing facilities. In its first year, Helping Restorability expects to enroll and serve at least 50 veterans across North Texas, with the number growing as outreach expands. And representing Helping Restorability is Katie Peters, the COO, and Pam Hebron. Oh, no. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations to Pope and Helping Restorability. These grants are made possible because of your gifts to the Rotary Children's Fund and the Endowment Fund, which many of you supported with your gifts to the Four-Way Donor Initiative. And through that extra that you gave with your dues, we're very grateful for your support. If you know of nonprofits who would like to apply for a Rotary grant, applications for the spring cycle will be open on March 1st, that's Sunday, and due by April 1st. We had a tremendous response in the fall and are looking forward to the same this spring. So please encourage the eligible nonprofits that you support to apply for a Rotary Club of Fort Worth grant in March. And now we have a new member to introduce to the club. Allison Ricks and Evan Robinson, would you join me?
So about a year ago, I got a call from Victor Neal and said, we have a new Dean of Pharmacy at UNT HSC, and he is wanting to get plugged into the Fort Worth community. And that's when I was introduced to Dr. Evan Robinson. Evan joined UNT Health College of Pharmacy as Dean in January 2025. Prior to joining UNT, he served as Dean of Creighton University School of Pharmacy and Health Professions from August 2019 through December 2021. And from 2008 to 2019, he was founding dean at Western New England University College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. He received his BS in Pharmacy and MS in Pharmacy Administration from St. Louis College of Pharmacy and his PhD in Pharmacy Administration from Auburn University, which means he's a lot smarter than I am. But after meeting him, I saw a true desire to get plugged into the Fort Worth community, and the first thing I told him is, you need to join Rotary, because there is no better group of people if you want to get plugged into Fort Worth and learn in ways that which you can serve and be a part of. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Evan Robinson to our group.
It is absolutely wonderful to be here. And I warned Allison that giving a microphone to a dean is never a smart idea. It's always best to undertime me, thank you. When Allison approached me about this and Victor was talking to me about it, the idea of getting involved was immediately resonated with me because of the service mission that's associated to this, because of the benefits that this provides to community. Because one of the things that is near and dear to my heart when I think about as a pharmacist, but as a health professional, is something that I espouse that's called the privilege to provide care. Are there any health professionals in the room? Anybody? Okay, I see a few. All right. If you took, and I did this because I'm a nerd, but the privilege to provide care is the notion that relates to the fact of having the ability as a provider to meet and help and assist a patient, their parent, their grandparent, their children, to achieve a better life. Service, above self to others. Now, the nerd in me went out and checked into this, and what I found is if you added every health professional with direct, front-facing patient encounter activity, all of them, and put them in a bucket, you would find that less than 5% of the US population cares for 330 million Americans today. You would find that if there's a pyramid to the floor, this small group of people serves with distinction, but with joy, the rest of the United States. That's why service to me matters so much. That's why the opportunity to join Rotary mattered so much. So I'm thrilled to have the chance to be brought in and inducted. Thank you very much. And I'm looking at Allison, I'm trying to honor my time. So thank you all.
Photo walk. Thank you. Thank you, Allison, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Evan, we're very pleased to have you. And if you know of others in the community who would be interested in joining Rotary, please see our membership co-chairs, Rebecca Montgomery and Deanna Stewart. It is now my pleasure to call on Crystal Galvan, Vice President, Growth and Partnerships, MGT, who will introduce today's speaker. Crystal.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is a privilege to introduce our guest speaker today. She is a leader who hasn't just studied our community, she has lived it. Dr. Karen Molinar brings over 2 decades of dedicated service to education. She began her career exactly where the impact is felt most, in the classroom, and she rose through levels of leadership to become our superintendent. She is not simply a district official, she is a tireless champion of our city. Through her tenure, Dr. Molinar has remained relentlessly focused on student outcomes. She has proven that her administration is about placing students at the heart of every decision, fostering leadership culture that improves educational outcomes while building strong, sustainable community partnerships. Dr. Molinar is an architect of our future workforce. She understands that the health of our economy is inextricably linked to the literacy and success of our students. She leads with transparency, grace, and a no-excuses approach to academic excellence that our city needs. Dr. Molinar is a transformative leader who hears the needs of our community and meets them with action. As a graduate of Salisbury State and Tarleton State, she earned her doctorate in education administration from our very own Texas Wesleyan University. Yes. Dr. Molinar is an active member of professional organizations, including the Texas Association of School Administrators and the Texas Urban Council, and has been recognized for her leadership and unwavering dedication to public education. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to a true servant leader, our superintendent, Dr. Karen Molinar.
Good afternoon. So I don't know what my time limit is, but those of you who do know me a little bit, when I talk about our district and our kids, I can get a little lengthy. So you're gonna have to give me the sign. I never come empty-handed, so of course I have a slide deck that I want to share with you where we're at. And when Crystal shared that I'm about transparency, I'm very transparent, and I'm originally from the East Coast, so a lot of that comes out. That I really feel like you need to say where we are, what we're doing, and where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. So I'm really excited to be able to share with this group today, Fort Worth ISD, and our story of where we're currently at and where we're heading. So make sure this is okay. So our Board of Trustees, and two of them are here with us today, so I want to recognize Toby Jackson, Aniel Luevanos. Two of our Board of Trustees are here. We embarked on Lone Star Governance, which is a training around how are we holding ourselves accountable with governance, but always centered around students and student achievement. For Lone Star Governance, this is a state initiative that there's 3 to 5 goals that are solely around students, and that is my passion every single day. How do we have student achievement but accelerate student growth as well? So we have adopted some goals we're going to share with you today, and it's always around data. I don't believe ever coming to speak about our district without sharing data, where our current situation is, and of course, how we're growing. Our goal 1, of course, is around literacy. I went to a college in Maryland, Salisbury State University, and it was known as an education college. It taught me to be a teacher. That's what it was known for. At day 1, it was around education, but it was around how do you teach a teacher to teach reading? How do you engage literacy? And that was such a passion of mine. So for 4 years, I embarked on how to teach literacy. So if you're a math person, I apologize. I don't get as passionate about math because I'm a literacy-focused leader for sure. So you'll see here, and this really does show you where we're at. And this is where I become very transparent, where we're not happy. Only 38% currently of our 3rd grade students are on grade level, 38%. And that is just inexcusable. And it comes with a lot of factors, but factors aren't excuses. And that is really what we talk about every day in our district, whether it's on a campus visit, it's in a cabinet meeting, and we're designing curriculum. There's no factors that become an excuse why any child should not be able to read or do math, and especially at 3rd grade. We teach our students at pre-K to 2nd grade, we teach them how to read, and then they transition for reading to learn. So if they do not know how to read by the time they leave 2nd grade, how are they going to learn and make that transition? So we set very aggressive goals. And when you look at our goals, by 2030, we're asking for 53%. That's still unexcusable that 47% of our students would not be on grade level. But those of you who are mathematicians know statistically how you do percentages and how you grow, that you have to also have attainable goals. So this year, our goal is 41%. You're going to see on the chart when you start from the left-hand side of the 6 weeks assessments. So this is what we call formative assessment, so how we monitor our students every 6 weeks in our grade levels to see how they're progressing. Because the STAR test, which is around state accountability, is a summative assessment. That's 1 year, 1 test, 1 day for 3rd grade on up. But we want to monitor from kindergarten all the way to our high schoolers. So we have designed 6-week assessments that we monitor our students to see how they're progressing. The chart in the middle is MAP, and MAP is really around national norms, because it's also important for us that we're seeing how our students are comparing nationally with other students across the United States. With the MAP testing, we do that beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. We're also able to not only see how they're progressing nationally against other students at their grade level, but we're also able to see how fast they're growing, the acceleration rate of growth for grade level. And we also use this as a screener for dyslexia. When we're trying to identify our students who not only have learning disabilities in areas that are have always been defined by special education, but dyslexia, we have very underserved population of our students. So we use our MAP testing for a screener in addition to that. This year, you can see that we are at 57%. Our MAP testing just was completed in January. And so we're at 57%. Last year, we were at 44% of the amount of students who were approaching grade level. We're now at 57%. So that is a huge gain for us this year. And I'm going to show you a little bit of our curriculum that we put in place that we feel has really driven to these results. And then we do benchmarks. A benchmark is very similar to the STAR assessment, where it's STAR formatted, and it's from third grade on up, and we do that in reading and math, and then in certain grade levels in science and social studies. Last year in February, our district was at a 26% for our third graders. This year in December, it was at 31%. Now you have to remember, this benchmark is a year-end test. However, we're now doing another benchmark because some of these, especially in reading and math, some of these standards have not even been introduced to our third graders yet at this time. But we still want to see how are they doing, so how can we intervene for the standards that they have not been progressing through. This next slide shows you, this is our MAP testing, going back to our national norms. And this is a comparison of where we were last year at beginning to middle of the year and where we are this year in 2025. You'll see here, we listed all the grade levels that we have done MAP testing. If you want to go back to what we were discussing in third grade, because that's our goal, that's when our students start taking the STAR test. Third grade last year, we were at a 49% middle of the year for students who were progressing grade level. This year, at the middle of the year, we're at 66%. So we're already seeing a 17-point gain from last year to this year with the acceleration. That means our students are accelerating at a faster pace to be on grade level, and then also to compete nationally with other students that are taking the same MAP test. And I'm not going to read every grade level and slide to you. It's also important that we look at our subgroups. When we talk about our subgroups, how are we looking at all of our students, our Hispanic students, African American, white, our special education students, and then we have students, emergent bilingual students who are new to our country that also engage in all of our assessments. How are they progressing not only in their home language, but also in their second language of English? They are held to the same standards and accountability as a student who was born and raised with English as their first language. So we monitor them very closely, and we add those additional supports. And then for me, I monitor chronic absenteeism. This isn't necessarily something the state monitors. However, to me, if a student is not in school, they're not able to learn. They have to be in school. I always say I am the worst person to be out during the day if I'm not at a campus, because if I see a student out in the community with a parent, I will, and very nicely, oh, what school do you go to? You know, like in my head, why are you not in school? You know, so I am the worst person. And it can be a different school district, and I will still be like, oh, you had a doctor's, but you're going back, right? You're going to go back to school. It's important you are in school every single day. When I was growing up, I tried the stomach ache, I tried the headache. It did not work, right? But for some reason, it has been very hard after COVID to get our parents and our community to realize being in school every day is their job. That's our students' job. And as adults, we have to enforce that as well. Here's our Spanish scores. And, you know, there's not as many students, of course, even though we are 65% Hispanic. These are our emergent bilingual scores, our students who are taking their assessments in Spanish, but we also test them in English here. But you'll see that we're all in green. I'm so proud of the work that our teachers are doing every single day. Now, we have a long way to go, and you'll hear me say that many times during this presentation. I don't excuse where we're at and the percentages of students who are still not meeting grade level. But we are making gains, and there's hard work being done every day in every classroom. Our second goal that our board adopted is also third grade math, just staying with the third grade because that's the first grade they start. We were at 35% last year, and you can see our goals at 37. If you look at where we're at on the benchmark, and this was in December, so especially for math, a lot of the concepts have not been taught by December. They were already at a 36%. So we are very confident we'll meet and surpass that goal. So it would be such a great thing to have to go back and revise our goal setting and annual targets. And then you look at the map, and that's that national norm. Last year, 42%. This year, we're at 57% already at middle of the year. We have put in new reading curriculum and new math curriculum, and really working with our principals on being instructional leaders, and we're seeing that growth. Here's the same chart that you'll see here. And if you want to go and look at your third grade, we did a 12 percentage point gain. So I like to go and look at cohorts. So look at your third grade in 2024. They scored a 53% middle of the year, meeting their projected growth. Those same students, look at the fourth grade column, scored a 66%. So when you look at the gains, you see our kids going from third grade to fourth grade this year. When you cohort them, the gains are even larger. So we are accelerating their growth. So I get a little nerdy. So I asked NWEA, who actually creates the MAP testing, and I actually asked on Monday, I said, I need you to run the norms from last year to this year under the new norm setting, and I need to know if my kids are surpassing the acceleration point. What am I seeing? Is it really real? And they came back, they took 2 days, they analyzed it, and they said, this is not a fluke. They are outpacing. They're accelerating on a very fast rate. So I was very excited for them. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of them. Here you'll see there are subgroups as well. Just like we monitor in reading, it's very important we monitor that in math, but also do it in science and social studies in addition to that. So what's changed in our district? And this is really my favorite part of our story. I have not even been a full-time superintendent yet for a year. My official date is March 11th for my first official year. But however, I've had 18 months serving as an interim and as a permanent superintendent. One of the things when our board of trustees asked me to take on the role as an interim, I said, I will only do it if you let me change things immediately. Because if you keep things the same, we were going to get the same results. And they did. They allowed me to change things immediately. So we immediately decided, of course, it wasn't hard, that literacy has to be our focus in our district. Our students must be able to read, to be able to accomplish everything in life, including math. So we became a literacy approach district. We did an instructional framework. I'm going to show you a little bit about that in a minute. We totally did a whole resource alignment. Of course, we adopted a literacy resolution, but more importantly, we changed our budget. When we talk about being student-focused, you have to talk about where's your budget going? Where's your money going? Where's your people going? 85% of our billion-dollar budget is in employees. So if the employees are not impacting instruction, you have to ask yourself why. And if you can't measure their impact, that has to change as well. So that was a definite, immediate change that we did. So here's just a little example of our budget reallocation that we're seeing the benefits of this school year. Over $22 million in instructional support redesign. And when you see how we, in a couple slides, how we changed our instructional planning calendar and our curriculum framework to support our teachers and support our administrators. We did a middle school block schedules. I have middle school parents in here, so I'm not going to make eye contact with them right now. But so please forgive me, but we have a middle school problem in Fort Worth ISD. There is a middle school problem. It's not the middle school teachers' problem because it's what we fed into them from elementary that is now catching up with them in middle school. So I double blocked reading and math classes in all of our middle schools. Double block means that they have a 90-minute period. But think, this is when I get teacherish here. You take a fifth grade student who's had 1 to 2 teachers from pre-K to 5 or kinder to 5th, And then you ask them to go into a middle school, and they go from 2 teachers in 5th grade, maybe 3. You put them in a middle school schedule with 7 teachers. You're asking them, they're already behind grade level, I need you to learn new math concepts in 45 minutes. That's impossible. And in addition to that, if you're a parent, you know, how long does it take you to get your kid up? Tell them to get dressed for school, brush your teeth. I mean, now think about a teacher has 25 kids walking into a classroom, get them settled, get them ready, get them engaged to learn in a 45-minute block. And then they have to switch classes to the next one. It was not working. They are 11-year-olds going into a system, and we're asking them to dramatically change. So what do? We changed the adults instead. So now they have a double block math and a double block 90-minute period every middle school. And we're seeing the gains. You saw that in our MAP testing. In addition to that, we put in a research-based phonics program. Back to my literacy hat. You have to have phonics. I'm not a whole language. You're not going to learn to read by looking at the pictures. You have to know phonics. We have to teach our students from pre-K and before pre-K, what sound does a letter make? How do you put those sounds together to make a word? How do you put words together and make a sentence? How do sentences become a story? And then, of course, writing is embedded with that as well. We also added a dyslexia screener in 7th grade because of all of our students who we know have bypassed us from elementary into middle who have not been identified with dyslexia. So that was very important. It's not too late to go back and to help them, give them the program that they need to have. And our instructional framework redesign you're gonna see, and then of course we added stipends to become competitive with bilingual teachers that we need within our district, and then how we are monitoring as well, which you'll get to see a little bit of our dashboard. So instructional support redesign. Over last Christmas, 24, I tried to sit down and act like I said, I'm gonna be a 2nd grade teacher. I'm gonna plan out a lesson. And a 2nd grade teacher teaches math, reading, science, social studies. It's like, how hard? I was a good teacher. I was like, I can do this, right? I had been out of the classroom a while. I couldn't do it. Hours and hours to try to plan a lesson. Tabs open, I couldn't find, what am I supposed to teach? Where am I supposed to teach it? Like, where's the lesson? We were asking our teachers in every grade level to approach this every single day. That's not fair to them. And then we were trying to hold them accountable. So we redesigned our whole instructional support redesign. And this model is really focused on how do you support the teacher and how do you support the students. We had about 150 instructional coaches in our district last year. 150 adults who are certified teachers, supposed to be the best of the best, that had no accountability tied to them. And I had no idea where they were every single day. They were assigned to campuses, but there was no way to track their ARI. 10 minutes, that's it? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask for more time. So I pushed them all back into the classroom. But you know, these are people also that are supposed to be my master teachers. So how can I not make it a punishment that you're going back to a classroom, which I don't know why it would be, right? Because that's our work, is to work with students. But we were able to give them a hybrid type of a position where now they actually have a caseload for half the day of students. And then they are also model teachers where they're modeling our new instructional framework. And they can earn the distinction of a teacher incentive allotment. So they have additional compensation, which it could be $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 additional dollars for accelerating the growth of a student for more than 1 year. So I'm gonna skip through, because this is where I get really nerdy. This is our new instructional framework here. And it looks a little busy on this page, but our teachers went from having nothing to know what to teach, when to teach it, what resources to use. I would walk in one classroom, a 5th grade classroom in reading, see one thing, I walk into the next classroom, see something totally different. We also have a mobility rate in our district is around 33%. Think about a student who moves from one school to another. That's hard. But now they move from one school, they can walk in the next day to another classroom. They're seeing the same type of instructional framework. The slide decks look the same. They're on the same story. They're using the same resources. That confidence level and the stress level that goes down for our students is amazing. And we're giving our teachers a framework to be able to start from. I'm not taking the autonomy away from teaching, because how you deliver the instruction is your choice. But what you deliver, the aligned resources that you are using, and when you're doing it is a non-negotiable, because you have to be accountable to the results we're getting. So during this structure redesign, we call it first teach. So if all of our teachers go in for the first 45 minutes, everyone gets the same first teach, and then they do what we call a demonstration of learning. 5 questions, takes 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're able to see, did the kids get it? Why are you going to wait 6 weeks to see if a student got something? Or on a Friday, which is always shut down test day. So now every single day, 5 questions. If they score a 0 to a 3, they get pulled, we're reteaching them. We already have the reteach ready. If they get a 4, they got the material. We're going to push them ahead. They go into a challenge. If they are a 5, they go into a challenge B, which is even more rigorous. So this is not just a new framework that we're intervening. We also are doing challenging to make sure we're pushing our students who are at mastery level as well. I'm a big one about monitoring and accountability. And when I walked in, there was no way to monitor what was going on in our school district around academics. So we have put in a dashboard, and this is what I do at 3 a.m. at night. I look at this, and I can drill down to every single teacher to go back and look at how they did on their prior day's DOL. How many students had to be retaught? How many students were able to go to challenge? How many times an administrator has been in that classroom giving feedback? How is that administrator rating that teacher? If you look all the way over to the right side, is it proficient? I can look at teacher absences as well. Because if a teacher's not there, a student's not learning. Same thing with students. So this is what I can look at for every single teacher in our district, any point, any day, and go in that classroom. I also can see that if a teacher is struggling because all their students have to be retaught, that's not a student problem. That's a teacher problem. And every student, every day in Fort Worth ISD now has the opportunity to be a master student. Before it would be, if you were labeled a tier 3 student, you're a struggling student, you will always get that same instruction. Now, every day a student has a chance to go into a challenge block instead of being labeled the same every day. And we do a lot of goal setting as too with them. Thank you. This just shows you where we're trying to do some strategic compensation that's aligned with Dallas and Houston. We already have what we call teacher incentive allotment, where we have we actually have more now, 1,200 teachers that have shown more than a year's growth for their students, and they receive additional compensation through the state funded. We are kicking off next year. We're doing this for principals, because principals and assistant principals must be instructional leaders to move our district and support our teachers. So we have a designed and enhanced TIA where our principal evaluation is centered around academic movement. And when you move my kids, when you move my schools, we'll compensate you as well. And we need our best teachers and our best principals to stay on campuses. I should have a very small central administration because I pay the best talent to stay on a campus and work there. Here's just an example of some, and I'm happy to send this out. To get into our CCMR, our college career readiness, and our workforce, I understand the state of Texas, where we're at. We are to be reckoned with. We're number 8 in the world's largest economy. So I feel like I need to contribute to that as well. So when you look here, we talk about the economic impact and how Fort Worth ISD is responsible for it. You have direct, indirect, of course, to it. I'm skipping through here. Just to put it on your radar to remind everyone how important Fort Worth ISD is to this city. We have over 19,000 jobs that we support. We generate $1 billion of labor income. We have $1 billion budget as well. And when you look at the bottom chart of the impact that we also bring into this city, it's very important that we pay our teachers well, we attract the best talent, and make sure that they are getting the results for our students, because our students are going to be a part of this workforce. And we're so happy. I'm going to skip through because I'm being told I am done. Our college, career, and military readiness, but just the gains that we're making, we are making big strides to make sure our high school students are ready in college. I do not want my students to have to go take remedial courses. We are 86% economically disadvantaged. They cannot afford to take classes they should not take, because we did not do our job in a pre-K through 12 setting here. So we have put some very aggressive gains of how they're going to be ready to go into college or career readiness. And you'll see that currently right now we have 1,100 juniors and seniors that are enrolled in career prep classes as well as CTE areas. Here's some examples of some partnerships, and those of you in the room, many of you are partners with us. Thank you so much. We also have our police department partnership where our students who want to go into law enforcement, Autobahn, I love Autobahn. They have, oh my gosh, they have just helped us transform our automotive program, and it's just starting. And they have also, they're helping our teachers. When I went and I walked our automotive classrooms, garages, this fall, I could not believe the lack of resources and the lack of knowledge of some of our instructors. And we told them there's non-negotiables now. And Autobahn, thank you so much for your help with that. Some of them quit after my visit, but that's okay. We replaced them. We also have a HVAC career pathway that we're doing internships with through T3, the Mayor's Council, because we know this is something we live in Texas, people, we need HVAC. And we pay good money, right, when it goes down. So we're trying to expose that to our students as well. So in closing, I understand the importance of not only having our students be able to read and do math, but more importantly, that they're ready to join the workforce and support us here in the city of Fort Worth.
I think Dr. Molinar has time for 2 questions, so make them good. John in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, first a compliment. You've done a much better job than your predecessors on tough decisions like closing some schools and making some employment decisions on people.
Thank you.
But the serious question, it appears places like Mississippi and other states are now making tough choices to substantially change expectations, literally have a few kids fail. It looks like the Fort Worth leadership is tolerating thousands of failures rather than 2 or 3 in each classroom. What are you going to do to change that?
So I understand Mississippi with their retention policy, and that was a statewide policy, and that's not something our state currently has in place. Now, for me, I'm going to hold my educators accountable first and my system accountable, that I'm providing the education and the instruction my students need as well. I need my students in school, and I need a curriculum, and I need something to be able to monitor it. And that's what we're putting in place. When I said we went back to phonics, it starts at phonics instruction as well. And I need pre-K. If they are 4-year-old, I love that some of our parents choose home daycares, and I understand that. But we need to have a robust early learning as well to make sure our kids are reading. We look at our students. We have implemented 2 parent-teacher conference days throughout our calendar as well to engage our parents so they know where their student is learning and where they're at. And then we also do parenting workshops for them to help outside of school time in addition to that.
John?
Karen, thanks for coming out. We met shortly after the state's intervention, and I'm going to ask a question that I don't know how, if it's hard to answer, just answer it as well as you can. Everybody was concerned about the state intervening in our local affairs, you've been a very busy woman. Love to see all of the dashboards and stats. Thank you for all you've done. I'm a proud product of what we're doing. Is Mike Marath's involvement with the ISD a hindrance or a help? And how much? How much has the state's intervention had to do with all that you implement? Because again, you've been busy, like so how are you?
So what I think is, I'm going to take that back. What I know is driving our results to accelerate this quickly is the redesign of our curriculum, the curriculum framework, and how we're monitoring that and supporting our teachers with it. With support becomes strong accountability that our district has not been used to, all the way from a teacher to assistant principal, principal, and executive director, that I'm monitoring and holding them accountable. With that, those were things we were putting in place before the state takeover. There's always, of course, a sense of urgency when there's another layer put on top. However, we are taking that and we are learning from other districts, and we have gone to Houston. We've adopted some of the things they have put in place, but also we've looked at some of the state initiatives that the state also helps us with funding, and we're putting some of those in place, including 6 campuses. We're doing a total redesign. You know, you may not always ask for the support you're given, but when you get the support, you definitely want to react to it and make sure it's also focused on our students. And the commissioner is always focused around data and student achievement. You're welcome.
What do you need from us?
Thank you for that question. The only thing is to support every campus, support every teacher, just support every student and celebrate. We have lots of things to celebrate in our district. We have so much talent. Our kids are amazing. And even through the takeover, our teachers are showing up. Our principals are showing up. Our parents are still showing up. So sometimes it's just counter narrative that not everything is horrible. Do we have a lot of room to grow? Yes. But, you know, we grow faster when we have support and we celebrate, rather than to keep continuously finding the negative. So anytime you can do that, if you see a teacher, thank them, hug them, and ask them, like, hey, how'd your DOL go today? What was your reteach percentage? Do that for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Molinar, for being with us today. I think you can see you have a lot of support in this room. It's a tradition of the Rotary Club of Fort Worth to make a gift in your honor to Rotary International's Polio Plus Fund. Rotary has provided over 3 billion polio immunizations around the world to children, and we know that you have children in your heart. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
and please come back. All right. We have just a few quick announcements. The Richard L. Knight Rotary Minority Business Awards are fast approaching, and the deadline to nominate a business or an emerging leader is tomorrow, so get those nominations in. We have some wonderful sponsors for the RLK RMBA, and today we welcome the University of Texas at Arlington Fort Worth campus as a patron sponsor. Thank you, UTA Fort Worth. The Board of Directors is meeting today in the Rotary office immediately following this meeting. If you're out and about tomorrow, be sure and cheer for the Rotary team at the Cowtown. Next week, we will have one of our favorite programs, the 4-way speech competition from students from the Interact Club at one of Fort Worth ISD's wonderful campuses, the Young Women's Leadership Academy. These are amazing young women, and I know you want to hear their speeches. Thank you to all of our guests for being here today. Please come back. This is just a sample of what we do every week. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. Our meeting is adjourned.